La semana que viene. La semana que viene. Okay? La semana que viene. Semana means week. So you kind of know what I'm talking about here. A little bit. This means next week. La semana, week, or the week. Que viene, the literal translation is the week that is coming. Okay? The week that is coming. La semana que viene, next week. I know it's longer to say la semana que viene than next week, but that's how you say it in Spanish. That's how you say it. For example, la semana que viene tengo que pagar la renta. La semana que viene tengo que pagar la renta. What does this mean? This means I have to pay the rent next week. Okay? Something many people have to do. La semana, you know what that means. La semana que viene. La semana que viene means next week. By the way, you can use this phrase again at the beginning or at the end of a sentence. Tengo que means I have to. Tengo que trabajar. I have to work. Tengo que comer. I have to eat. In this situation, tengo que pagar. Pagar is a verb and it means to pay. Okay, pagar. La renta means the rent. And of course, la semana que viene, next week. You can also say, tengo que pagar la renta la semana que viene. Okay, that's correct. You can say or use this phrase at the beginning or at the end of a sentence. Very easy, very flexible. Okay, excellent. Let's look at the other example. Todo estará listo. Todo estará listo la semana que viene. Todo estará listo la semana que viene. What does this mean? Everything will be ready next week. Okay? Todo means everything. Todo. Also, it means all, everything. Todo. It can be feminine as well. Toda. Todo. But usually when you're saying, it depends. If you're saying toda la casa, all the house, right? Todo el carro, all the, all of the car, or toda la pizza, all of the pizza, right? So todo can be feminine as well, but we're just talking about everything, just everything as a noun. Todo means you can just say todo, masculine, todo, everything. Estará, future tense, and we're using the verb estar, so it means will be. Listo, ready. Listo can mean ready. It can mean smart or clever. Okay, it depends. In this situation, when you're talking about ready, you use listo. Okay, you can say listas, listos. It depends what you want to say. But when talking about everything, you can say listo. Okay? Ready, listo. La semana que viene. Next week. So very easy. Todo estará listo la semana que viene. Everything will be ready next week. Very easy, very, very easy to use. This phrase is easy to use. By the way, if you want to change, maybe everything will be ready next year or next month, right? So, or next day, the next day. So you can change semana. You can change it to, for example, el año que viene. El año que viene means next year. El año que viene, next year. How about next month? El mes que viene. Next month. Okay? El mes que viene. Next month. Now, how about next day? Next day, I think for that, it's a bit different. For day, I would say, or it's commonly said, al día siguiente. Okay? Al día, oops, hang on, let me fix that for you. There you go. Al día siguiente. Al día siguiente means next day. Okay, it's different. It's different. Oh, next, next day. Sorry. Next day. Siguiente also means, well, it's very similar to saying next. Siguiente, next. But in this case, al día siguiente means next day. Why are we using al? Because día is masculine. El día. That is because this in Spanish is wrong. A él, we don't have that. When you have this happening, you just remove the letter I and it becomes al. Al día siguiente. Okay? It's not a el día siguiente. It's al día siguiente. Okay. So we said year, month, week, day. And I think that's it. That's it. So just remember this. If you want to add this specific phrase to any of these examples, I would use, in this situation, tengo que pagar la renta. I would use tomorrow though for this. Tengo que pagar la renta mañana. Okay? You don't say al día siguiente. Tengo que pagar la renta al día siguiente. You can say it, but if you want to be more precise, you would say, or more common, a common thing to do is to say tomorrow. Tengo que pagar la renta mañana. Todo estará listo tomorrow, mañana, or al día siguiente. Okay? So in some situations, this can apply. But this phrase is used when you wanna, when you're telling some story. This is a common phrase to say. But it's more common to say if you're going to do something the next day, you can just say tomorrow. Okay? So we can talk about al día siguiente more in a future lesson, but al día siguiente means next day. Okay? Now, let me just change this back really quickly. Okay. La semana que viene. I think I had it like that. Let me just move this up. next week. Okay, it's interesting to talk about this for sure. If you want to change this to the next year, el año que viene tengo que pagar la renta. I mean, you don't pay rent every year, but technically you can say el año que viene. El año que viene tengo que pagar la renta. I mean, doesn't make sense, but it works. It's grammatically correct, okay? And this means next year I have to pay rent. Or el mes que viene tengo que pagar la renta. Yes, that also works. That makes more sense, right? You pay rent monthly usually, and this means I have to pay rent next month. Okay? Excellent. And same here. Todo estará listo. El año or el mes. Both can work. It depends on what you want to say. But in this situation, this means todo estará listo el año que viene means everything will be ready next year. Okay? So that works. That's grammatically correct. Okay. But yeah, la semana que viene, next week. That's a common phrase to use. Now the next one, guys. The next phrase is, hang on, I just need some tea. Okay. Dan is asking how to say next weekend. Next weekend. Oh my goodness, Evan Smith, thank you so much for the donation for $4.99. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Evan. Thank you. Okay, so how do you say next week? You're welcome, Evan. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm really happy that you like the lessons. De nada. Excellent. How to say next weekend? Okay, hang on. Let me just go back really quickly. That's a great question. El fin de semana que viene. Next weekend. That's what it means. So for this one, it's very easy. El fin de semana que viene. Tengo que pagar la renta el fin de semana que viene. I know it's a long phrase, but fin de semana, el fin de semana means weekend. It's long. Or just fin de semana. It depends what you want to say, but el fin de semana means weekend. El fin de semana. Okay? And if you add que viene, that means next weekend. ¿Cuándo nos vemos? When do we see each other again? El fin de semana que viene. Next weekend. Okay? So, thanks for asking, Dan. That's a great question. Okay. Next year, yeah, you say el año que viene. Yeah, I mentioned that. El año que viene, año means year, okay? Año means year. And once again, el mes que viene, next month. El mes means month, okay? El año means year. El fin de semana means weekend. And you can just add que viene. Okay? The only difference is if you want to say next day, you have to say el día siguiente. You cannot say el día que viene, okay? So once again, el día siguiente. Next day. But this one, I mean, just to make it a bit easier, it's better to say mañana, tomorrow. Okay? Oh, also al día siguiente. El día siguiente is the next day, and al día siguiente, next day as well. Next day. Both mean the same thing, but this one is more like a phrase when you want to say next day. Okay? But it's a bit tricky. We need to talk about that one in a future lesson. Excellent.